Welcome to Deep Space Nine.
Good morning, everyone. Tuesday morning. Just having a cup of coffee, waiting for the supposed snow to move into Oklahoma City. I've already seen some snow this morning, so I don't doubt that there's going to be snow, but whether or not we're going to be able to get around this afternoon, I think maybe they're over-exaggerating a little bit. What's up, NAFTA? Glad to have you with us this morning. Is it raining in Tulsa yet? Finally got that pipe insert lined out. So I'm going to put it in this Hawthorne red anodized lighter that didn't have an insert and sell it that way. NAFTA says it's still dry in Tulsa, but sounds like snow is coming. There were some flakes falling outside a while ago that were as big as quarters, maybe even bigger, but it was also kind of mixed in with rain. What's up, J. Rowe? Glad to have you with us. The Professor's Garage is also with us this morning. Good morning to you. Glad that you could join us. But it appears the last time I looked outside it was back to pretty much rain for now. So we'll see how that works out. They forecast anywhere from 1 to 6 inches of snow for the middle section of Oklahoma. And they tend to conveniently sort of make Oklahoma City the line between maybe getting a little and catastrophe every time. I also found this, well, it's actually a Storm King lighter. I'm not sure if I've ever done an actual video on it. It's been in several videos before. These are some of the coolest lighters to me. You guys see the park lighters all the time. I love the way these old Park Sherman inserts were marked on the front, as opposed to the later Park inserts that tended to be, I don't even have another one here, tended to be made of aluminum and a lot of them not marked. Finding these older Park or Storm King or whatever the other brands were, Neff, I keep forgetting one of the major brands. Seems like they made safety razors as well, but with these same aluminum case flip top lighters with that brute force leaf spring on the back. But anyway, that insert is actually marked Storm King, and then, as we were showing a while ago, Park Sherman, precision made by Park Sherman, Springfield, Illinois. It's not fueled up or anything. I just found that in there a while ago. This lighter will be in tomorrow's video. Another of the Zippo pipe inserts. That was really wanting to burn for a lighter that had been sitting there since I fueled it yesterday. Almost looked like I just fueled it up. I don't really have much of an agenda today other than to talk about whatever you guys want to bring up. I don't have a repair project for today. I am going to cut out here in a little while and go see the new Avatar movie with my daughter. So that'll be fun. These pipe inserts, I'm not sure why they're both flaming up so high. Looks like they've I don't know, that's strange. I guess just the fumes built up in the inside of there overnight. That one seems to be acting normal now. What were your two Zippos, Professor's Garage, that you bought on Saturday? And what do you think of the Zorro insert? What was the Zorro insert that you bought? I've seen several over on Zippo Fanatic 77 Outdoors channel. The kind with the snuffer that actually goes over the windscreen. Seems like it's got a little bit more fancy file wheel on it too. And then some of the butane inserts. But what were your two Zippos that you bought on Saturday? What's up, Eastwa? Glad that you have joined us. I was watching some of your videos earlier. I really liked that one on the Noblesse. Reminds me a lot of the Champ-O-Matic. From the outside, I thought it was going to be the Champ-O-Matic, just with a different name, but then when you took that windscreen off of it, and the actual mechanism is a little bit more like a Lancel or something. Really cool though, and I guess that was an Arthur Dubsky lighter as well. Always, you know, there's a few names that kind of have reverence when it comes to, and I mean just like among common people. If you watch Larry Leiter's posts, he talks about all kinds of people that designed lighters over the years and this and that, and I don't know half of them, but Arthur Dubsky is certainly one of those names that people recognize. KW may be another one. You bought a lighter from what's his username? Is it Bakelite? Bakelite something, I think. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I wish he would come over and put out the kind of content on YouTube that he does on Facebook. He owns a lot of prototype Ronson stuff. I don't know all his backstory, and there seems to be some I don't know, some friction between him and some other, well, there's definitely some friction between him and some other members of the community, as he's constantly calling one of them out in various Facebook lighter groups for being a thief. And I'm not sure that the other guy he's talking about is a thief. He's well respected by a lot of people. I think maybe he just doesn't see necessary to be as thorough in his descriptions as Larry thinks he should be. But there's definitely some friction there between him and some folks for some reason. But he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to cigarette lighters for sure. Yeah, no, it's not really a surprise. For some reason, and maybe it's just like everything else in life, some people are just hard to get along with. Because I'm telling you, I have met so many good people, so many generous people, and for the most part, it's all good. I can't tell you how many um, spare parts that I've sent out at no cost to people over the last 5 years. And it just seems kind of foolish to me when somebody's asking for something that I've got and I'm not using and that doesn't have a huge, it's not like I would be getting rich off any of this stuff anyway. It's really just kind of people doing people favors here and there. So, but yeah, I've encountered way more of that going both ways. But, I've encountered a seller or two or, a person that in the Facebook lighter groups or two that, you know, just like when I was selling stamps, I didn't get along with every customer that came up to the window, nor did I get along with everybody that I was working alongside. But it is weird how some people just attract friction. Yeah, you may be right there, Eastwad. Maybe the fact that there's so much competition for different lighters may be part of it. The Professor's Garage says he got a 1958 high polished chrome. The high polished chrome are always nice, um, especially when they're still, nice and shiny and highly polished without any scratches. They're great. They are going to show wear and scuffs, and if it's a lighter that you're going to use, it's going to show that quicker than any of the other finishes. But there's nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with putting your own. Um, people like patina and whatever else. Wear it the way you want to wear it. Use it the way you want to use it. He also says a 2014 satin chrome, and that satin chrome is probably a little bit more ideal for carrying. You're not going to scratch it up quite as much, but I wonder about the finish on that one. I've had one or two of those. I've actually got one in the other room. Let me go get it. I've got this satin chrome that I bought this at a pawn shop here in Oklahoma City one day when I was just out messing around looking for lighters, and they didn't have anything. On the way out the door I asked, and the guy first shook his head no, and then he reached behind him. He had this, and it was a military ship Zippo. I can't remember now which one. It wasn't that USS Camden. It was something that I had, I don't know, probably a year or so before that. But he sold them both to me for $12, and the other one I sold it for, I can't remember, $40 or $50. So this one, it was really kind of no account as far as what I'd paid for it. But when I cleaned it up, you could see, I don't know if it was like that when I got it or if it was me cleaning it that did it, but I noticed in the process that part of that satin finish had worn off there on the corner. And I hadn't even scrubbed it or anything. I don't even remember what I was cleaning it with, but anyway, I've been suspect to that finish ever since. Which Zorro insert was that, Professor? Was that the one with the weird side wheel on it? Yeah, and I think that's one thing that happens, Iswa, is people are get used to being able to buy the lighters that they want to, or that they've been buying, or that they want to collect, whatever the case is. Maybe they're buying them and selling them, maybe they're collecting them, whatever. And then suddenly there's competition for those lighters. And man, there's all kinds of competition nowadays for Zippos and every kind of vintage petrol lighter. But yeah, I guess that could. I've seen it. I've seen it on the OTLS page where people complain about Asian buyers, and maybe there is something to complain about. I don't know, but to me, if they got more money to pay than the American buyers, I don't know. It seems sellers are selling to make money. Collectors are collecting what they like. I don't know that it's nefarious that you've got collectors from another part of the world gathering up stuff that maybe they were previously not as aware of. I mean, we may not like it. You may not like that they seem to have more money to spend than you do, but it's just the way we've got a worldwide marketplace. I don't know. Same thing with the issue of the what a lot of people call shipping clearinghouses. I don't know if it's. I always thought maybe it was kind of more of people doing it for their friends, but it sounds like maybe there are actually businesses set up. I know there's several in Oregon that I've shipped to. Also somewhere up in the Northeast. Can't remember what state that was. Maybe California as well. But where when they buy it from eBay, because a lot of eBay sellers only ship to the U.S., at least the ones located in the U.S., then they'll have it shipped to that address in Oregon or whatever, and then I think they repackage it, consolidate, and ship it to its final destination. Yeah, I agree with you. It's everybody's after the same lighters, so I don't know. There's plenty out there. There's still plenty, in attics and dilapidated buildings, and there's still plenty of lighters out there for people to find. There's, collectors die every day, and their collections get dispersed. So, it's sort of like, not what throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It all comes out in the wash either way. Yeah, 1958 with a few dents, $5 not a bad deal. Satin finish, if it's, you said 2014. Is that what you said, 2014? That's funny. That's the same satin finish I have as 2014. So, yeah, $10, especially if it's in new or like new condition. Mine had some blemishes on the outside, as I showed you. And like I said, I bought it more as kind of a package deal. He told me $12 for the two, and this gave me a Zippo that I could do some experiments on. I can't remember whether I don't think we re-wicked it or anything like that. I don't remember if we ever did anything with it, to be honest. I may have just used it around here. Okay, you bought the insert with the weird side wheel? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's, well, that would be a vintage lighter by now, 1998 brushed chrome. A few scratches and dented and whatever. Yeah, that's your daily user, man. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, you know, John, I'm a huge Zippo fan, and I've talked about it before. My very first petrol lighter that I ever bought was a Zippo. 2016 brush chrome, I think it was. I don't remember the month on it. I've still got it. It's not here with me right now, but that purchase was inspired from watching binging Sons of Anarchy and Jax Teller and all his motorcycle gang members pulling out Zippos, and so that's kind of how I got started. And once I had that first Zippo and had lighter fluid sitting there beside me, next thing you know, I'm browsing the eBay listings, and it's expensive to buy brand new lighters. It's expensive to buy even fully identified lighters sometimes, but man, I could sit there and watch those listings for groups of lighters, and I could sit here and bitch like we were talking about some of these people do about not being able to buy the lighters that I used to. And I used to be able to pick up, job lots, groups of much more high quality lighters for less 5 years ago than I can right now. But it just means there's more people in the hobby. There's more people participating. Maybe more money, and maybe they're not our friends or the people that we're familiar with, but still collectors nonetheless. But so yeah, Zippo is where I got started. It was my introduction to petrol lighters. My only real, I think I am a Zippo fan. I'm a fan of a lot of different brands, but the one thing I'll say is it really is, with the way that the wind blows around here, it's not a one-handed tool for what I smoke. So that's my only real negative thing that I'll say about Zippo. I know a lot of people have negative things to say about the finish, and I've seen several posts in the Facebook lighter groups lately, Zippo addicts, or I can't remember specifically. Of course, most of that stuff gets cross-posted anyway, but there's been a couple people who were giving away a lighter or asking questions because they had removed the sticker and it had brought up part of the paint or finish of the lighter. So that would certainly upset me if I had a collection that still had all the stickers on them. So I understand there are negative things, but yeah, I'm a Zippo fan, man. I'm not anti-Zippo at all. Yeah, I've seen that discussion too, Professor, about pushing on an overbite or an underbite. And I've seen it, I mean, from what I've seen in the Facebook lighter groups, it seems like most people will do that. If they've got one that's obviously making them uncomfortable, seems like you can usually put a little bit of pressure in either direction to get it to go the way you want to. But it may be something else, the way it was welded, that's causing that to happen. It may be once the insert is reinstalled and left that it's going to draw back that direction anyway. I don't know. Yeah, I wrote an article on the website last week, John, and I've said in that article, talking about the iconic name or image of a Zippo, and for a lot of people, the brand or name Zippo is synonymous with the word lighter itself. It's like saying a Coke, like using the word Coke for, generic soda. For a lot of people, Zippo is just that. Zippo just means lighter. Doesn't matter whether it looks like this or not, whether it's even a flip top, may be a completely different style, and they're still going to call it a Zippo. Any of the rest of you guys got weather headed your way today? I know watching the news this morning, they said it was, I forget however many, 50 some million people it was supposed to impact with this storm that's, and I don't know how far, I think maybe it's reaching down into Texas and Louisiana, but I think it's going to end up impacting folks over on the East Coast later on. So Natha, you said that your first Zippo was that 98 that you found in a drawer a couple years ago. Was that your entry into the vintage or petrol or cigarette lighter hobby, whatever you want to call it? Lighters. The vast majority of what passes through my hands, the vast majority of the videos that you see and the hundreds of lighter videos that we've made are lighters that I have sold. I do personally collect Penguin Cygnus lighters. So I have a collection of those. Trying to straighten this out. I'm not sure where I'm monitoring the feed at, the live stream at here. It had dropped off on me too. Anyway, yeah, if you see a lighter in the stream, man, this lighter is going to be listed for sale soon with the Park pipe insert. Those Park pipe inserts are not all that common. Don't see them every day. And I've got some others that I'm going to be listing for sale soon as well. You can just go to my website, dependableflame.com / current eBay listings. That'll take you from the links there, that'll take you straight over to the eBay store. If you click on those links from my website, then I earn a commission for being an eBay affiliate. So keep that in mind. That doesn't change your price either way. But in addition to me getting paid for selling my item, I also get paid a commission from eBay when you click those links from my site and make a purchase. Glad that you are back, NAFTA. I think I am back too. I'm gonna have to figure out. I was just rolling right along there and noticed that there was no movement on the screen, and I think it was when that call came through a while ago. It must have knocked the video offline. I'm not sure if it knocked the audio also or not. But I'm glad that you are back anyway. Yeah, I understand the problem with the internet issues. I am prone to that myself. Jeff, did you have a particular lighter that you were interested in, or something that had prompted that question? Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe those weren't y'all's internet problems. Maybe those were mine. Either way, hopefully it's back now. I probably ought to figure out a setup to where I could do this not on the phone, and then whatever device I was doing it on. Are you saying you're back or I'm back, Eastwell? Because I think I was offline for a moment. Anyway, glad that you guys are all back. And Professor, you had said earlier, high of 40 for the week in Montana. Snow showers today and this weekend. Yeah, so that's about what Oklahoma, we've been pretty mild all winter. Had a lot of spring-like weather. Just back at Christmas, we had those few days where it was single digits and busted all the water pipes across town. So we go back and forth for sure. But all in all, this year, I would so far put it as pretty mild. Awesome. Yeah, those music lighters, those are pretty cool. I can't say that I've had one or two, but the music part of them didn't work. And whatever, I'm trying to remember, there was one of them that I had that was an advertising lighter that still sold for pretty good amount considering that the music box wasn't working. But I don't know anything about that music box or the wind-up. It's kind of like working on a watch for me. I don't have a clue. So I would be afraid that I was going to wind it too far or whatever if it didn't work just right off the bat. The one, this Crown musical lighter, did the music part of it still work, or did you have to fix it? I like how you say not rare, but really cool, because that's pretty much the majority of what I handle. Obviously, I've had some rare or scarce stuff. The Town and Country Zippo that we were talking about last week. I don't know, Sterling Dunhills. I don't know that you'd call those scarce or rare. Really cool and really expensive. But that Ronson Debonair, that was a really cool lighter. The Nika aluminum block lighter with the unique flint tension mechanism, that was really cool too. So I think I've handled some rare stuff, but a lot more cool stuff than rare. Cool. I'll check that out, Professor. Eastwa says the music box was working. It's supposed to start when you press. And that was bend a little. Just had to repair this, and the flint tube was easy too. Yeah, flint tubes, that's kind of a given with most. I get questions all the time for people who have just bought a lighter and they haven't even gotten it in their hands yet, and they say, well, it's supposed to be working. And 9 times out of 10, by the time they get it, it wasn't working. Because the mechanism would move, the seller thought it was working, but it had an old flint. There's all kinds of lighters being sold as working by ignorant sellers. When I say ignorant, I don't mean that as a bad thing. That's just descriptive. They just don't know. Maybe they should, but they don't specialize in lighters, so they assume, all right, everything's working here. You just need to put a flint in there and fuel it up. It seems to me, Eastwa, that there are different lighters that are tougher. For me, the aluminum Park Industries inserts, when a flint degrades in there and expands before it gets to the powder stage. I've had some that I just gave up on because it was like it had adhered to the inside of that aluminum tube in a way that it didn't some of the others, like say a Zippo tube, and I just had to give up. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You say you thought it would never get cleared again, but you managed to do it. I've had plenty that my hands are bad enough anyway. I'm only going to beat my head against a brick wall for so long. Okay. Maybe the spring is involved in how hard it gets packed in there. I've seen so many different theories as to how how the degradation process comes about. I'm sure that moisture is involved because you find flints in old lighters sometimes that are fine, and I think they were just in ideal circumstances. But the majority of the time, when they do degrade, obviously I don't think, once it turns to dust, it's going to be a little bit easier to get through. But there seems to be a very hard stage in there for some of them. Yeah, it's that's just interesting to me that you said that because that excuse me, that had not occurred to me before. The 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 amount of tension the spring provides would play a role, but yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, there are definitely multiple variables at play, and like I said, I'm not sure that I have a grasp on the actual sequence or the cause and effect. Is it just moisture? I mean, if it gets wet, is it definitely going to? I think probably. I probably think a damp room. I don't know if you guys remember the first one that I opened up that I bought from Ted Ballard up at the National Lighter Museum in Guthrie. But that was a big, cold, damp feeling room that those lighters were in. And that flint looked like it had exploded in the top of that lighter. Yeah, that's a good point, Professor. I hadn't really thought about that either. But you saying that also reminds me of an email that I got a while back from our friend Robert Hollingsworth, which Robert is one that supplied me with all those red colored flints that I've been using for the last several months, and there's still tons of them in the tube that he sent them in. What's up, Dylan? Oobla doobla. Glad to see you. But Robert brought up the fact that he believes that the Ronson Redskin flints, that he thinks those will destroy a file wheel. He thinks that those old Ronson Redskin flints have oxidized. They've actually changed structure over time and are harder. And so he won't use them, and that's one of the reasons why he uses those. I don't know if I ever put up that link to those or not, but I need to if I haven't. They're good flints. Generic brandless flints from a U.S. seller on eBay. Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. I knew this satin chrome wasn't. Get my coffee out of the way. I don't want to do what I did last week and be missing a flint and suddenly assume it's in my coffee. No, I guess I did put the flint back in there, so I could fuel that one up and use it. Thought I'd taken it out a while back. I know I took it out to use in another video. I didn't think I put it back. So Eastwa, you say you use the Hour flint. Is that the one that is in the red and green and yellow package? So I bought some of those before, and they did seem to work well. It seems like I ended up with, they came in a red cellophane package, maybe 50 or 100 at a time. But it seems like that I bought a package of those again later, and maybe some of those inside of the package had dusted up a little bit. And I've also, I bought a package of Dunhill blue flints off of eBay a while back that when I got them, 2 of them had sort of powdered off. One end, maybe a couple, maybe one of them had on a couple ends. One of them though had was fine on one end and was eating away pretty good on the other end. So I don't know. Does Dunhill still make those blue flints, or all the? Well, surely. Well, maybe not. Maybe they don't make the blue ones anymore because they don't make the lighters that those were used for. The Dunhill red are for the roller gas, I believe. Yeah, a new Hour was the, because they call it Hour metal. But I thought see if I can get my other iPad here. As a matter of fact, I think maybe I have a link on my, yeah, I'm not finding those on eBay. Let me go. It'd be a good opportunity. If that link's not good, then I'll go back and erase it. Go over here to my website and click on vintage lighters, helpful lighter related links. Yeah, these are the ones that I was talking about. The green and yellow and red packaging. See if that link works. Yeah, so there's still some there. Zumstein lighter flints. Trey Becker Hour Met. Anyway, that's what I was thinking of when you said Hour. Yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of shocked about from watching your videos is how many, you opened up a can the other day that had a bunch of Flint dispensers in there, and there were a ton, and obviously there probably used to be more manufacturers of them, or I guess through time have been different manufacturers pop up here and there. Like you see the Sure Light wicks and different brands, kind of an off-brand, not really at least a popular lighter. So maybe back in the day they all had their own But it seems kind of shocking because now, there's just not, other than the Asian knockoffs, are there any petrol lighters being currently produced other than Zippos? Bics. You've got reusable lighters like the Clipper, but that's not a petrol lighter. And I know you can go over to Amazon or eBay, either one, and buy. Again, obviously there's Zorro, but that I'm kind of lumping that in with all the Asian reproduction stuff. Japan or China. I am Corona is butane lighter, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, I got it. It's just like the Zippos say to use Zippo flint and fuel. Do they still say that? Yeah, right there on the insert, right up here on the top. Always use Zippo flints and fuel. So yeah, I guess that's true. They're wanting to. They were putting wicks and flint and everything in it, so even if they aren't making it, they might as well brand them as their own and sell them for replacement along with the lighters. Sort of like the Bentley butane, where that lighter was worthless without the replaceable, disposable butane cartridge. Speaking of knockoffs, what's up, Azrael? What do you mean, what's with the professional look? Talking about the microphone? The microphone just got in a view. I'm not sure how it quite got that far forward. Probably when I was moving things around. I think I'm a little askew here as well. Maybe I should have had that a little further over. It was nice conversing with you on the ZF77 Outdoors stream the other night, Azrael. What do you mean by slight roast? Was it making a noise when I moved everything around there? I was talking about Asian knockoffs earlier, and this actual lighter case. We talked about, well, we didn't talk about, we talked about it being different, seeing each other. We must be opposite, because you said good morning in the morning and it was evening for me, as opposed to these morning live streams, which I guess are evening for you. ZF77 was live on, it was either Friday or Saturday, Dylan. Did he erase that? I don't know. Sometimes he leaves them up, and sometimes he takes them down. I hadn't looked. But yeah, he was up for several hours the other night. Let's see. Excuse me. No, he took it down. The most recent live stream that he's got up was 4 weeks ago. But yeah, he was up for, I don't know, it might have been 4 or 5 hours the other night. Everybody was there, Dylan. Everybody but you. I'm in Oklahoma City, Azriel. You're in Southeast Asia, is that right? Where's the case from? The case is from Japan. Continental Japan. Which, Continental, CMC was another way that they were branded. And they made a lot of Ronson type, Ronson standard clones, that kind of thing. And also flip top lighters like this one. But it just so happened I had some extra pipe inserts from a few years back that were in a group of lighters that I bought that didn't have cases. And when I got ready to use them, I just stuck this in there, or I was trying to use them, didn't have an extra Zippo case at the time, and it fit perfect into this, which they don't always. So I just decided to leave it and use it. So that's one of my carry lighters. This one is not. This one's probably better termed a house lighter. It's just gotten left here and used. But these others, this is a 1965 that Zippo repaired the hinge on. And it's got another pipe insert in it. And then of course my Storm King, 1940 Storm King, with the really cool, excellently marked Park Sherman insert. There you go, Professor. It may have been Friday. I can't remember. It was a night. Yeah, I don't remember. It may have been Friday. Where are you at, Professor? So, Azriel, in Southeast Asia, you are ahead. You're at least a half a day or so ahead of the States. Yeah, that's right. You just answered that a while ago, didn't you? I'm sorry. What an idiot. We've already been through that today. I apologize for asking you that twice. I've never been to Montana. I've been to Wyoming. Through Wyoming. Skirted the bottom of it from, was that Laramie? A couple of towns that I went through there on my way over to Ogden, Utah. Talking about this one, Azriel. You don't get the same ping with the Continental lighter, or the click, whatever you want to call it. Still works, still opens just fine, still closes fine, but doesn't make the same sound. And you also, with the Park lighter, you may get a sound, and you get more of a sound when you shut it. They close really tightly. But as I've said many times before, that's kind of what I think of as a blunt force type leaf spring. Not near as much finesse involved as there is with the Zippo cam system. So you've lived around that whole area, it sounds like. I need to get back up there. I'd definitely like to go to Yellowstone National Park. I'd like to go to, what's the park in Utah? I can't think of it now. You see pictures of it all over the internet. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. No, not much open sound on those at all. Just opening... just releasing the tension is all I was doing. But you're right, the Zippo is a little different. But you can see even Zippos make a little bit different noise. This 2014 doesn't have near as strong a sound as this 1965 with the repaired hinge and a, I think, 1990s insert. Have a good one, Eastwall. Glad you joined us, and look forward to your videos. It is a good concept. I like it, and I think overall it's better. I think with age and time, and even sometimes just from sitting, I think with this brute force system of the Park Industries lighters, they may damage themselves. Where the Zippo, obviously, you know, more moving parts there. Well, maybe not. Maybe not more moving parts, because you've got this spring fastened on the back and its bracket against this pivot point. Anyway, yes, definitely the Zippo is better. And sounds cooler too. And I like these, I like all these pipe inserts. The Park and the Zippos. We're still experimenting with those, and that's what tomorrow's video will be. Yeah, that's why I was trying to, definitely you can damper that sound by, see that one, it's just, it just doesn't have much sound. Where this other one, anyway, stronger springs I assume, or maybe the hinge is playing a role in that too. That hinge is a little wobbly also. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if it was intentional at first. I think it definitely is now, and you know, there's people that talk about, well, tell me how can I adjust, how do I get that sound back, the click doesn't sound like it used to. And you know, you can go in there and adjust your cam stop, and I think that's what they do at the Zippo factory. But I don't know, like I said, it's not like tuning a guitar necessarily, because two different lighters sound a little bit different anyway. So, I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is to tuning that, but there's folks that claim you can do it. So I mentioned earlier that I was going here in a little bit to see the new Avatar movie. Have any of you guys seen that yet? My daughter and I went and saw the original one whenever that came out, which that was about half her life ago now. I don't remember where we went and saw it at, but it was in 3D, and that initial scene once he was driving the Avatar and he gets out there and he's got animals chasing him and all that stuff, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. That was one of the most intense movies I've ever seen. So I've really been looking forward to going and seeing the new one. Yeah, that's a good bet, Professor. That's what I normally do. I pay for so many streaming services, and those movies come out there eventually, so I usually wait and stream them as well. But with this one being 3D and one that we had seen years ago, or being a sequel to one we'd seen years ago, that was the draw for me to actually go sit in the theater and watch this one. Did you like the new one, Azrael? Or the original, for that matter? And what do you mean? Azrael says there's interest over here to making Zippo sound twice. What do you mean? You want it? What do you mean making it sound twice? Are any of you guys fans of Park Industries, Park Lighters, Storm King? I think Park made some butane lighters toward the tail end there. Well, how's that even possible, Azrael? They putting a second tiny cam in there or something? How are they making it sound twice? You know, Park has been around, I believe, since 1914. Been making lighters long before Zippo. And they made lift arm lighters, all kinds of other like advertising, like desk sets and things like that. So Park is a legitimate historic company on their own. That insert reminiscent of the Zippo inserts of that era that were used the cigarette filter tubing. That's a little bit smaller than the cigarette filter tubing, it looks like to me, but still the same idea. Not exactly a felt pad. And I believe that is the original wick, wadding, everything. I don't think I have redone this one. Yeah, that's when it's not convenient, that doesn't make it too appealing either, Professor. I agree with that. I lived out, well, not exactly out in the country, but out of town for most of my life, and proximity makes some things a lot easier. I live right smack dab in the middle of downtown Oklahoma City now, so I've literally got just about anything that I want to do within walking distance in most cases. Oh, um, maybe they're at a Walmart right here. If you need to go to Winco or, you really need to buy groceries, you can't do that in downtown. There is one grocery store, well, there's a couple of them on the edges, but, it's going to cost you too much money, especially with the way that groceries are nowadays. $9 dozens of eggs or 18 packs of eggs and it's just crazy the price of food. Same eggs that I used to pay 80 cents for an 18 pack at Winco before the pandemic. Yesterday though, that same package of eggs was $6.71. So do you live in Tulsa or are you in one of the suburbs there, Natha? I was born in Tulsa, but I haven't spent a ton of time and hardly any time as an adult. When I was a kid growing up, I had aunts and uncles there. My dad and my mom and those aunts and uncles, we were back and forth between Oklahoma City and Tulsa all the time. But like I said, as an adult, I've only been up there a handful of times. I got an aunt that lives in Claremore, so I went through Tulsa a couple years ago to go see her. Okay. Well, if I get up, I keep saying I'm going to get up there to see my aunt one of these days. If I do, maybe we can make contact. But yeah, that's the place I was born. Hillcrest Hospital in Tulsa. I don't know if that's still open or not. Some almost 52 years ago. So I was trying to see here, and it does look like the snow is falling here in Deep Deuce right now. Supposedly we're going to be getting snow until, what's up, Sonic Ox? I'm glad that you joined us. NAFTA says he thinks he was born in Hillcrest too. Yeah. April of 1971, so like I said, almost 52 years ago now. Oh yeah, Azrael, we have towns all over Oklahoma that don't have movie theaters or gas stations or there's so many rural communities, and I imagine it's even more so. Montana, that's about as rural as it gets. But yeah, there's some places in Oklahoma that are, I mean, you might as well be in a third world country. And we got water infrastructure breaking down all over the place. It's kind of crazy to think about how some of these communities are going to survive and be able to sustain themselves. Some of those old communities, they don't have money coming into them like they used to. They're basically still just homes for the older people, and all the younger people have moved away. Well, I am going to have to call it quits today and go see the Avatar movie, as I was saying. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll be back next week. Be back hopefully every weekday morning, most weekday mornings anyway, with the vintage lighter videos. And then we can gather here on Tuesdays to have a cup of coffee and talk about those same lighters or anything else you guys like to talk about. Until next time.